Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt this? You've been learning English for 1, 2, maybe even 3 years. You know the grammar rules, you recognize thousands of words, but the moment someone asks you a simple question in English, your mind goes completely blank?
That feeling is more common than you think. You stand there searching for the perfect word, you try to remember the correct sentence structure, and by the time you finally have an answer in your head, the conversation has already moved forward.
You might tell yourself, maybe I need more vocabulary. Maybe my grammar is still bad. Maybe I'm just not talented enough to speak English. But what if none of those things are actually the real problem?
That is the surprising part. Many English learners spend years trying to fix the wrong problem. They buy more books, memorize more word lists, and complete more exercises, but they still struggle when it comes to real conversations.
What if I told you that the biggest thing holding you back is a mistake almost every English learner makes, and once you understand it, speaking can start to feel much easier, much more natural, and much less stressful?
Today, we're going to uncover what that mistake is, why your brain keeps repeating it, and 3 simple changes you can make starting today to become a more confident English speaker. No complicated rules, no endless memorization, just practical habits that actually work.
Emma, I think almost every English learner has had this moment. They listen to someone speaking English very naturally and they think, wow, that person knows so many words. I need to learn thousands more before I can speak like that.
Absolutely. Vocabulary is probably the #1 thing learners blame. They think, if I just memorize another 500 words, then I'll finally become confident.
But here is something interesting. Have you ever met someone who knows a lot of English words on paper but still struggles to have a simple conversation?
Oh, many times. In fact, some students can pass difficult grammar tests, get high scores in exams, and understand complex reading passages. But when a person asks them, "How is your day?" they suddenly freeze.
It almost feels unfair, doesn't it? You spend months studying, you collect all this knowledge, and then your brain decides to disappear exactly when you need it most.
And that can be very frustrating. Many learners start believing that they are not good at languages, but that is usually not true.
Another common belief is, my grammar is the problem. I cannot speak until every sentence is perfect.
This is one of the biggest traps. Because in real conversations, native speakers do not stop every 3 seconds to check whether every single word is perfect.
Exactly. Think about your own first language. You probably make small mistakes sometimes. You change your sentences in the middle, you pause and search for words.
Yet, communication still happens. The goal of speaking is connection, not perfection.
Traumatic? Wait a second. Think about your last English conversation. Were you struggling because you truly did not know the words? Or were you struggling because you were afraid of saying them incorrectly?
For many of you listening right now, I think you already know the answer.
So, if the problem is not only vocabulary, and it is not only grammar, then what is the real reason so many English learners freeze during conversations?
The real problem is something almost every learner does without realizing it. It is the habit of translating every single thought from your native language into English before speaking.
And the interesting thing is that many learners believe translation is helping them.
Exactly. They think, I will create the sentence in my language first, then I will find the English words, then I will check the grammar, and finally I will speak.
That sounds like a lot of work for a conversation that is moving at full speed.
It really is. Imagine someone asks you a very simple question like, what did you do this morning?
Your answer might actually be very easy.
Yes. Maybe you woke up, made coffee, exercised, and went to work. The message is simple.
But many learners create a difficult process. First, they think about the answer in their own language. Then they search for the exact English translation. Then they worry whether the grammar is correct.
And during all of that thinking, something happens. The conversation continues without you.
That silence can feel painful. You can understand the person. You know what you want to say. The idea is already inside your mind, but the words do not come out quickly enough.
And this is why so many learners say something very interesting. They say, when I am alone, I can speak English, but when I talk to a real person, I cannot.
That is because a real conversation has a timer. You do not have 5 minutes to build the perfect sentence.
You only have a few seconds. And confident speakers are not translating every idea. They are connecting ideas directly with English words and expressions.
Think about your first language for a moment. When someone asks you a question, do you translate your answer into another language before speaking?
Of course not. Imagine how exhausting everyday life would be if we did that.
Your thoughts and your words are connected automatically.
And the good news is that your brain can create the same connection with English. It takes practice, patience, and the right methods.
But here is the surprising part. The reason you learned to translate in the first place might not actually be your fault.
Think about the way many of us learned English in school. We were given a word in English and immediately asked, "What does this mean in your language?"
Honest. Then we studied long lists of vocabulary, translated sentences, and focused on finding the one perfect answer.
Those activities can help you understand English, but they do not always teach your brain how to react quickly during a real conversation.
It is like learning everything about driving a car from a book, but never actually sitting behind the wheel.
Exactly. You might know the rules, understand the signs, and recognize the controls, but the first time you drive, your actions are slow because your body has no experience.
Speaking English works the same way. You cannot become fluent only by collecting information. You have to train your brain to use English automatically.
And this is where many language apps and textbooks create a small misunderstanding. They often make you feel successful because you can complete exercises.
But real life does not give you multiple choice answers.
Imagine having 4 options appear in the air every time someone asks you a question.
That would make learning languages much easier.
Unfortunately, real conversations are messy. People speak quickly, they interrupt, they change topics, they use simple expressions you may have never studied before.
Pause for 1 second. Think about it. When was the last time this exact thing happened to you?
Maybe it was during a conversation with a coworker. Maybe it was when ordering food, meeting someone new, or joining an online class.
The important thing to understand is this. Your struggle does not mean you are bad at English. It means you have been training the wrong skill.
And now comes the exciting part, because once you know the real problem, you can finally start fixing it.
The first fix might surprise you because it asks you to stop chasing perfect English and start doing something much more powerful. Here is the first change that can completely transform your English speaking. Stop trying to sound impressive. Start trying to communicate clearly.
This sounds almost too simple, but it is one of the biggest secrets of confident speakers. They do not spend time searching for the most advanced vocabulary or the most perfect sentence.
And that is difficult for many learners to accept because they have spent years believing that better English means using difficult words.
Exactly. Many students think if I use a simple sentence, people will think my English is bad.
But let me ask you something. If a person speaks clearly, confidently, and you understand every word they say, do you think they are a bad communicator?
Of course not. In fact, some of the best communicators in the world use simple language because their goal is to be understood.
Think about this for a moment. Are you trying to speak English, or are you trying to impress people with your English?
That question changes everything, because when your goal becomes communication instead of perfection, your brain relaxes.
Let us look at a common example. Imagine someone asks you, "Why did you choose this job?"
A learner who is focused on perfection might start thinking, I need a sophisticated answer. I need advanced vocabulary. I need a very professional sentence.
And after 30 seconds of thinking, they might still be silent.
But a confident speaker keeps it simple. They might say, I chose this job because I enjoy helping people. I like learning new things, and I want to grow in my career.
That answer is not complicated at all. The grammar is simple, the words are common, but the message is clear and natural.
This is something many learners do not realize. Native speakers use simple sentences every single day.
They are not walking around speaking like a dictionary. They say things like, "I'm tired, I'm hungry, I don't know. That sounds interesting."
Imagine someone saying, I am experiencing an overwhelming sensation of physical exhaustion, instead of I'm tired.
People would probably look at them and wonder why they are giving a speech during a normal conversation.
So here's a powerful habit you can start today. Every time you want to say something in English, challenge yourself to make it easier.
For example, instead of trying to say, the circumstances of my current situation are particularly challenging, simply say, my situation is difficult right now.
The simple sentence comes faster, it creates less stress, and the more often you do this, the more your brain starts thinking directly in English.
Honest. Remember, fluency is not the ability to create the most complicated sentence. Fluency is the ability to express your ideas smoothly.
Right now, I want you to think of a sentence you often struggle to say in English.
Can you make that sentence shorter? Can you use easier words? Can you remove unnecessary details?
You might be surprised how much easier speaking becomes when you give yourself permission to be simple.
And here is a small exercise you can try today. Pick a topic like your morning routine, your favorite food, or your job.
Then speak about that topic for 1 minute using only simple English. Do not stop to correct yourself. Do not search for perfect words. Just keep the conversation moving.
At first, your sentences may feel basic.
That is completely normal. A strong building is created by putting down one brick at a time.
And once your simple English becomes fast and automatic, adding more advanced expressions becomes much easier.
That is important, but the next fix changes everything.
Most people stop here, but that is actually where the real advantage begins.
Now we are moving to one of the most powerful techniques for improving your speaking ability, shadowing.
A lot of people have heard the word shadowing, but many are not exactly sure what it means.
The idea is simple. You listen to a native speaker or a fluent speaker, and you repeat what they say almost immediately, copying their rhythm, pronunciation, and energy.
So you are not studying the sentence. You are not analyzing every grammar rule.
Exactly. You are training your mouth and your brain to move together.
Honest. And this is where many learners make another mistake. They spend hours reading English silently.
Reading is useful, but reading silently does not train the physical skill of speaking.
It is like watching hundreds of cooking videos and expecting to become a great chef without ever entering a kitchen.
Yes, at some point you actually have to cook.
The same thing is true for English. At some point, you have to open your mouth and produce the sounds.
Start with short pieces of audio. A simple podcast, a conversation, or even one sentence is enough.
But there is one mistake people make while shadowing that can slow their progress.
And when you understand that mistake, your practice can become much more effective.
So what is the mistake that makes shadowing less effective?
The biggest mistake is trying to understand and perfect every single word before you repeat it.
That sounds very familiar because it is exactly the same habit we talked about earlier, overthinking.
Exactly. Many learners pause the audio every few seconds and say, wait, what does this word mean? Why did they use this grammar structure?
And there is a time for studying vocabulary and grammar. Those things are useful.
But during shadowing, your main goal is different. Your goal is to train your brain to follow English naturally without stopping every few seconds.
Think about how children learn their first language. They hear sounds thousands of times before they understand every little detail.
They copy the rhythm, the emotion, and the patterns of speech. Your English learning can benefit from a similar approach.
Let me challenge you with something. The next time you listen to English, do not ask yourself, did I understand 100%?
Instead, ask yourself, did I stay with the speaker? Did I copy the sound? Did I continue speaking without fear?
That small change in your mindset can completely change your practice sessions.
Let us give everyone a simple shadowing routine they can start today.
Step 1. Choose a short audio clip, maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute long.
Step 2. Listen to it one time without stopping. Do not worry if you miss some words.
Step 3. Play it again and repeat the sentences with the speaker. Copy their pronunciation, their pauses, and their emotions.
Step 4. Repeat the same clip for a few days. You will notice something amazing. The sentences that once felt difficult will start coming out automatically.
And you might even catch yourself speaking with the same rhythm as the person in the audio.
That is actually a good sign. It means your brain is creating new speaking patterns.
And if you think you will forget all of this, subscribe right now. We post practical tips like this every single week to help you become a more confident English speaker.
We want this podcast to be your regular speaking practice partner, where every episode helps you build real-world English confidence.
But wait a minute. What if you understand the ideas, you know how to practice, and you still say, I never have enough time to speak English?
That excuse is probably one of the biggest obstacles holding people back.
Because many learners believe they need 1 or 2 free hours every day to improve.
But the truth is, one small daily habit can create a huge difference over time.
And that brings us to the final fix, a technique so simple that many people ignore it.
But once you make it part of your daily routine, your confidence can grow faster than you expect.
The third fix is called the 2-minute rule. And honestly, it may be the easiest habit you will ever add to your English routine.
The idea is very simple. Every single day, you speak English for just 2 minutes.
Many people hear that and think, only 2 minutes? That cannot possibly help.
Yes, that is exactly what most people say at first.
But the power of this technique is not in the length of time. The power is in consistency.
Imagine going to the gym one day for 5 hours and then never exercising again for 3 months.
Your muscles would probably not be very happy with that plan.
Definitely not. A short workout every day is usually much better than one huge effort followed by nothing.
Speaking English works in a very similar way. Your brain needs regular practice.
And the best part is that you do not need a teacher, a partner, or a perfect environment to do this.
You can talk about your day, you can describe what you see around you, you can explain your plans for tomorrow.
For example, you might say, I am making coffee now. After this, I will start my work. Today, I have 3 important things to finish.
The goal is not to sound like a professional speaker.
The goal is to remove the fear of opening your mouth and using English.
Because the biggest difference between someone who understands English and someone who speaks English is this.
One person waits until they feel ready. The other person starts speaking before they feel ready.
That sentence might be the most important idea in this entire episode.
Let us ask you something. How many days have you said, I will start practicing tomorrow?
Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month, and suddenly another year has passed.
That is why the 2-minute rule is so powerful. It removes the excuse of not having enough time.
Anyone can find 2 minutes. The challenge is simply making the decision to begin.
Now, we have talked about understanding English and speaking English.
But the next part is where everything becomes real, because we are going to practice together.
This is the moment where we stop learning and start doing. Remember, listening to English is helpful, but speaking English is what builds your confidence.
Do not worry about having a perfect accent or saying every word exactly right. Just follow us, copy our rhythm, and let your mouth become comfortable with English sounds.
We will say each sentence slowly first, then at normal speed, and then we will give you time to repeat it.
And here's a small challenge for you. Do not whisper. Do not say the words only in your head.
Speak out loud. Yes, even if you are alone in your room, walking outside, or listening with headphones.
Slowly. I am learning English every day because I want to communicate with people around the world.
I am learning English every day because I want to communicate with people around the world.
Your turn. Repeat after us.
Slowly. I do not need to speak perfect English to have a good conversation.
I do not need to speak perfect English to have a good conversation.
Your turn. Say it with confidence.
When I make mistakes, I learn and become a better speaker.
When I make mistakes, I learn and become a better speaker.
Your turn. Do not rush. Focus on being clear.
I can use simple words to express powerful ideas.
Normal speed. I can use simple words to express powerful ideas.
Your turn. Feel the natural rhythm of the sentence.
Slowly. Every small practice session brings me closer to speaking English confidently.
Every small practice session brings me closer to speaking English confidently.
Your turn. Take your time and speak clearly.
I do not have to translate every thought before I speak.
I do not have to translate every thought before I speak.
Your turn. This sentence is especially important for today's lesson.
Slowly. The more I speak English today, the easier it becomes tomorrow.
The more I speak English today, the easier it becomes tomorrow.
Your turn. Say it like a promise to yourself.
If you completed all those sentences, take a moment to appreciate yourself. You just did something many learners avoid. You actually spoke English.
And the funny thing is, your brain probably tried to make excuses before we started.
Something like, maybe I will just listen today and practice tomorrow.
We all know that voice. It always promises that tomorrow will be the perfect day to begin.
But let us ask you a serious question.
What if today was the day you stopped waiting to feel ready?
What if 2 minutes of speaking every day for the next 30 days completely changed your confidence?
The answer might surprise you. Small actions repeated every day can create a transformation that big, rare efforts never achieve.
And before we finish, let us quickly remember the 3 simple changes that can remove the biggest mistake holding your English back.
Before we say goodbye, let us go back to the beginning of this conversation.
Remember that moment we talked about at the start of this episode? You understand English. You know many words. You have studied grammar. But when it is time to speak, your mind suddenly becomes quiet.
For a long time, you may have believed that you needed another textbook, another vocabulary list, or another grammar lesson.
But today, we discovered that the biggest mistake was often much simpler. Spending too much time translating every thought instead of training yourself to think directly in English.
And the first solution was simple but powerful. Think simple, not perfect.
You do not need complicated sentences to have meaningful conversations. A simple sentence spoken with confidence is much more valuable than a perfect sentence that never leaves your mouth.
Then we explored the second fix, shadowing, not studying.
Instead of only collecting information, you start training your ears, your mouth, and your brain to work together.
And what was the third fix?
The 2-minute rule, the small daily habit that proves you do not need hours of free time to become a better English speaker.
But right now, we want you to do something very important.
Stop waiting for the day when you finally feel completely ready.
Confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes because of speaking.
Every conversation you try, every small mistake you make, and every sentence you complete is another step forward.
And honestly, even native speakers make mistakes sometimes.
That is absolutely true. We forget words, change our sentences halfway through, and sometimes say things in a funny way.
So give yourself permission to be imperfect. Your goal is not to sound like a dictionary.
Your goal is to connect with people, share your ideas, tell your stories, and understand the world through a new language.
Imagine yourself 6 months from today.
Will you still be waiting for the perfect moment to start speaking?
Or will you be someone who practiced for 2 minutes every day, who made mistakes, who improved little by little, and who finally discovered their English voice?
That choice begins today. Not next Monday, not next month, today.
We have one final challenge for you before you leave this episode.
Go to the comments and write one simple sentence in English about yourself.
It can be anything. Tell us where you are from, what your dream is, what you did today, or why you are learning English.
Do not worry about mistakes. This is your practice space.
We love seeing your progress, and your sentence might also encourage another learner who is afraid to start.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember something very important.
English does not become easier because you wait. English becomes easier because you use it.
Thank you for spending this time with us. We are David and Emma from English Talkhub, and we will see you in the next episode.
Until then, keep your English simple, keep your confidence strong, and keep talking.